Hello everyone, Teeny here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thanks so much for joining me for another 5 Easy Step card tutorial. Today we are using some brand new items from Waffle Flower Crafts. It's part of their brand new release called Simple Joy. We are using some frames. This is the Postage Collage Frames. This is new. This is meant to go with the, well, of course, the postage collage. All of these little frames will layer over some stenciled images so you can frame them in, put them on your postage collage. How cool is that? We're going to be using this on our card today. And for my focal image, we're going to be using Cozy Spot Add-Ons. This is an add-on die set, but I love the planter in here. There's a lamp that I like, and then, well, there's a tall lamp too that's in here. So we'll be using this. And then I'm also going to be using the Happy Circles panel die. I die cut out a panel already, and I just have to say I fell in love with it. I think this is one of those fabulous backgrounds that are so versatile. And I'm also going to bring in a Cozy Spot die. This is the add-on for this. I wanted to share it with you. We're going to make one card, and then I think I'm going to make a bonus card at the end. We're going to just speed it up and create another card. So 2 cards today. So let's, oh, and I'm also going to be using some of my Subsentiment cozy die cut strips for my gradings. Make it quick and easy. So jumping in with step number 1, we're going to create our focal point. My focal point today is with the add-ons. The planter I'm going to cut out with some light teal cardstock. My greenery for the planter we'll cut out with some green. And then I have 2 shades of orange here. And we're going to cut out our little pendant light. It's a layering piece, so we'll do the light with the top piece and then the base with a darker orange. So I'm going to run these through my die cut machine, and I will be right back. Now we're going to add a little bit of ink to the edges. I'm using my Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated Inks. And for my leaves, I'm going to be using my artichoke. And I'm just going to pick up a little ink with my blending tool here. And we're going to highlight some of the edges. I always like to do this just to add a little extra dimension. That's all there is to this. Now for my pendant light, we are going to add a little bit of shading to the lighter orange. And for that, I'm using my Simon Says Stamp Salmon. Let's go ahead and add a little orange just to one side. I think that's going to work great. And lastly, we have our little planter. The planter is 2 pieces, and I'm going to use my Seafoam ink from Simon. Let's add a little bit of color here. Maybe a little on the top too. There we go. Now we're going to put together our planter. First, let's add a little glue here at the base. And then we can tack this little piece right underneath it. And then as far as our leaves go, what we can do, there is a cut line in here, and all you do is tuck your leaves. I'm going to layer them together. Layer them together. And then I'm going to tuck them in here, and then I can adjust. And you can do as many as you want, but I think I do not have a green thumb. Oh my goodness, I cannot keep plants, or I can barely keep herbs in my garden. Yeah. I don't know what I can make a card, I think, but I don't think I can't garden. No, I can't garden. I wish I could. But okay, I'm going to secure this with a foam square. So that's my planter. Now to create now for this piece, I'm going to add a little glue at the top like this, and then I'm going to flip over the top layer, and I'm going to add foam tape on the bottom. And then I can layer this right over here. And then once this is layered, I can tack this down. So it kind of flows, kind of There we go. So it's flat here on the base, but it gives me a little bit of dimension here. I think that looks fun. So this is really going to be my focal point. That's all there is to that. Okay, I'm going to put these to the side. I'm going to clean off my work surface, and we are going to move along to step number 2 and create our home panel. I have a piece of silver cardstock. This is actually Spellbinders Silver Mirror cardstock. It die cuts so beautifully, but they don't carry it anymore. But any kind of silver cardstock you have would work. I'm going to bring in my Postage Collage Frames, and we're going to pick out a frame for this. And I'm looking at this one. And then I'm going to die cut this out. My frame is die cut, and it die cut beautifully. I'm not going to use the inside piece, but I am going to use it as a guide. I have some white cardstock. I'm just going to line it up here on the corner, and then using my scissors, I'm going to create a white backing for my frame. I'm just going to trim this out here so it's just a little bit larger. This way I know it's going to fit behind my frame. And then all I have to do is flip this over. Maybe we'll add a little glue behind here. And then I can add this white cardstock behind my frame. You could pop it up if you wanted to, but the mirror cardstock takes a little bit of time to grab. I'll put this to the side. Now we're going to work on step number 3 and create our greeting, which is going to be really easy because we have our Subsentiments. Okay, and I think today for this card I'm going to punch out Miss You Friend. I think that's going to work perfect. When you punch these out, there are little white nubbies on the end. You could do 2 things. You could take a marker, like I have a black Copic marker, and all you have to do is tap over those little tabs, and then you can actually go around this, kind of clean it up a little bit. Or you could take a sanding block, and you can remove them if you wanted. That's another option. Let me show you what I mean by sanding block. I just use a this is a foam nail file. It's gritty. It was a long one. Let me show you. See, it was like this, and you use them for your nails, but this works great for sanding off those little nubs. I don't know what you would call those, but I think you know what I mean. So you just do a little shimmy. You could use a nail file if you wanted to, just to remove them, give it a cleaner look. I'm going to pop up my greeting with some foam squares. And that's all. And my greeting is done. I'm going to put that with step 1 and step 2. Now we're going to move along to step number 4 and create our background. That is where our Happy Circles panel comes in. Now this is, I just love this. Okay, one thing I love about this is it's slightly smaller than an A2 panel, and it's open edged. So if you, let me show you. If you were to take this and die cut this out, it wouldn't die cut out an A2 panel. It would die cut out the circles inside this. Okay, I'm going to die cut out a piece of white cardstock, and I'll show you. Well, sometimes it's easier just to show you. Let me run this through my die cut machine. I'll be right back. There we go. So see if you die cut this out in a larger panel. So this would go great for 5x7 cards. I didn't punch out all the pieces, but look how pretty that is. I think that's just so gorgeous. Okay, so I have a panel here, but I'm going to make this a little bit smaller than my card base, which is a standard A2 size. So I'm bringing in my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to trim just a little bit off. so it will be smaller. I'll show you. I'm upside down, but see how it's just slightly smaller. I'm out. Okay, so I just love this. Now with this panel, I love the circles in here, and I want to bring a little extra gray to my background. So I'm bringing in some gray cardstock, and then I have a 1/2 inch circle punch. Now, you could do this two ways. You could die cut out your happy circle panel with the gray cardstock and inlay if you wanted to, but I'm going to go fast and easy. And I'm just punching out some circles here with a 1/2 inch punch. I think I need a new one. My spring is my spring's gone. I'm going to flip this over, and all I'm going to do is bring in my glue, and we are going to add some gray circles. You can actually pick them up and put it behind those circles to give it extra color. You could take a 1 inch circle and go one step further and put it behind here. Let me show you. 1 inch circle. Watch. There's so much you could do with this. You could just layer it behind here. 1 inch might be pushing it a little bit, but look at, you could do the same thing with a 1 inch circle. 1 inch fits it just perfect, so, but I think this is going to look really cool. Okay, I'm going to just continue and put some gray circles behind my panel here. Okay, I'm just finishing up here, and when I, since the sides are half circles, I went along the sides too, so they're overhanging a little bit. I think that looks like, if you wanted to use the reverse side, I think that looks pretty cool too. But I'm going to take my scissors and just trim away the hanging over bits. And then we have a really fun background panel. Okay, there we go. Again, I think that looks pretty cool too. Front and back makes it, options are always nice. So I love that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to adhere it to the front of a piece of Spellbinders fog cardstock. It's a very light gray. If you wanted to pop this up for a little dimension, I think, so you could see the shadows, I think that would look really neat too. But I'm just going to use glue. Lovely. That's all there is to my background. Let's go ahead and take our frame. I'm going to layer this directly on the front of my card. I'm just going to use my tape runner for this. I think this is a nice spot. Lovely. And then we can add our, let's add our planter here. And then we can add our little light fixture. There we go. Now we're going to move along to step number 5, which means it's time to add our bells and whistles. And I'm going to bring in, some of my silver gems. These are from Spellbinders. And we're just going to add a little bit of silver in our background here, just a little bit. And that's all there is to that card. Now we're going to move along to our next bonus card. It's going to be really easy to put together. I did my die cutting with the Cozy Spot Add-Ons, and then also the Cozy Spot dies. I die cut out my little armchair, and then the pillow too that goes on it. And then these are from our add-on set. Okay, this is the lamp. I created a little pull tab because I like texture on my card. It was really easy to do. All I did, I secured it with a foam square, but all I did was took some of my Simon Says Stamp silver metallic cord, trimmed down a little piece here, and then at the very end I put some gems on the front and the back. So we have a little pull for our lamp. I thought that would be really cute. I'm going to go ahead and take my little pillow and tuck it on the chair here. Okay, and then that will be my focal image. Step 2 is our home panel. I die cut out 2 circles, one with silver mirror, one with white cardstock. And we're just going to layer these together. And this will be my home panel. All there is to that. Okay, step 3 is our greeting. I'm going to be using some more of our sentiment strips, and I'm just going to use one that says "Stay Cozy." For my lamp, I'm going to layer it directly on my chair. That's why I didn't put foam tape behind it. Kind of creating a little scene. And then we have our planter that we're going to add. I think we're going to tuck our planter here. There we go. And then we have our greeting that I need to put some foam tape behind, and we'll go ahead and add this. Now for step 4, which is our background, what I had did was die cut out another panel. I kept it A2, okay, and then I put strips. These are slightly smaller than 1-inch strips. I did trim like maybe 1/8 of an inch off of 1-inch strips, so they'll fit behind each of the sections. I thought that looks really neat. And then all I do is add some glue here and here, and then I layered them all with the same colors that I used for my focal images, and then we have a nice colorful background. So fun. I'm going to take this and put this on my card base, and then I'm just going to tack this down, offsetting it as far as I can go without me being able to cut off that armchair, and making sure my greeting is straight. We'll tack this down, and then we'll just trim off what's overhanging. Now all we need to do is step 5, which means we're going to embellish. And I'm just going to take some smaller gems. These are silver again, so we're just going to add a few gems in our background. And that is all there is to that card. Quick and easy 5-step card. And then that's our first card that we made. I hope you get a chance to check out the new release over at Waffle Flower. Some fun items. I really love this cover plate. And I'll link everything down below in the description area for you. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.